working as a resourcing and analytics lead at EMIS Health India Limited, Chennai. When I approached her as a speaker for motivational speech, immediately she accepted our invitation with more interest. So really, I'm happy about it. Thank you, Hemavinotheni. I would like to welcome our HOD ma'am, Dr. Komala James, class advisors and co-advisors of second year ECE and medical electronics to this motivational speech. Finally, I extend my welcome to all the students of second year ECE and medical electronics to this webinar. I am expecting full cooperation of all the students and also to be attentive throughout the session. So let me introduce today's speaker, Ms.G.Hemavinotheni. She has completed her master's degree in the year of 2018 in Great Lakes India Institute of Management, BACP, Analytics, and undergraduate course in Valium Engineering College in the year of 2014. She has done micro certification in performance analytics and business analytics. Her career started in Infosys, where she was progressed as senior system engineer. Later, she joined as senior business intelligence analyst in global sports commerce. Currently serving as resourcing and analytics lead at EMIS Health India Limited, Chennai. She was expertised in predictive modeling through R programming, and her career journey expands over manufacturing, banking, marketing, and healthcare. She has a very good proficiency in data analytics with the exposure to Tableau, Power BI, MS projects, and SharePoint. So I welcome you to share your thoughts and opinions and your experience to enlighten this session. Now I hand over the session to Ms. Hemavinotheni.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Yeah, thank you so much, ma'am. And that was a very interesting piece of information about me. Actually, I had to delete the slide that I prepared to talk about me because you pretty perfectly briefed about me. So thank you so much.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. I'll just go on to quickly share my screen. Please let me know if you're able to see my screen.
Yes, the screen is visible.
Okay, perfect. So I'm actually here. Before this, I was part of Vali MA in the year 2014. So a few years back, I was just like you, sitting in a session. So it's a great honor at first place to be presenting this session. And a start of a semester, it's a great honor for me. So I'll do my best to make the session not very boring. So yeah, so let's get started. So the topics that you see in front of you, let me just first make sure that I've shared the. Okay, yes. So there are 5 topics that I will be covering today. So I want to highlight few things before we get started. One is I will not be playing any videos or be telling you any inspiration stories that you'll be hearing for the nth time, because I know we are all very active in social media and you've got enough inspiration through videos and stories. The next thing that I want to make here is the source of reference of anyone I refer is definitely not going to be excerpts from published contents from internet. So the reason why I want you to, why I had to explain this is I want you to look at me as one among your crowd, a few years senior, asking, sharing with you how things has evolved from being a student in Valley MA to being an employee in an organization. So also with this COVID and work from home and online class situations like this, I think we've been more used to come to teams where we either attend class or we are we attend a dozens of meetings in my case. So let's take this session very light and take this as a conversation with just like a college senior in your college canteen. Okay, so that's the vibe I want to set. Someone has muted me. Okay, good. Let me go to the next slide into the topic. Okay, so be proud of what you do. So this is something that I want to start the session with, because who are you? Like, you are all studying to be engineers, right? So the 3 points here are to tell you why engineering is something you should be proud of. So as you can read, engineering is an exciting career for anyone, as it builds a quality of life for all of us. Engineering is basically like salt to any dish. So engineering is everywhere in all industries. So engineering have the biggest impact on world over any other profession. They work to cover up with solutions to global warming, machines that can help the ill, and also even better the transportation system. So from the least to the highest, engineering is everywhere, and the engineers are versatile. So shortly, I'll just talk through what these points are. Lately, there is a lot of false things, painted around engineering and engineers. So many of them used to come and ask me, Hema, so I'm thinking to pursue engineering. Can I actually do it? Can I learn it? Can I earn enough? All those sorts of questions. So firstly, let me tell you, all the news that you've been hearing is spread by people who have either not made the best use of the opportunity, or have chosen to be, 12th among the, a dozen of rotten mangoes. So, and the reason that you don't hear enough good is because the successful engineer is actually busy investing his time to build something quality, and has no time to spread negativity or be a part of it. So there are a lot of memes, right, going around saying that engineering is doing this. If you are doing an engineer, you are underrated and things like that. It's just a very few percentage of what you're saying, but in reality, trust me, studying engineering has changed many people's life. We are earning right now. There are so many people in my own circle who have been flourished as very good engineers. So even if you have the slightest worry of choosing engineering, please erase it right now, because engineering is one of the best educational stream, and being part of Vali MI, and being having chosen the streams that you've chosen.
Hemavinotheni, sorry to interrupt.
Yes, ma'am.
Can you put in presentation mode? I mean full screen, slideshow mode.
Yes, ma'am. 1 second. If I move away, is a presentation going away, ma'am? If I move to the other.
It shows that session for SRM Engineering College. First slide, I think so.
Oh, okay. Okay, ma'am. 1 second. 1 second. I'm toggling between different screens, so that's a problem. 1 second. Are you able to see now, ma'am?
Yes, yes.
Okay, perfect. Okay. So yeah, so as I was talking about, even if you have the slightest worry of choosing engineering, please erase it right now, because engineering is one of the best educational stream, and being part of Valiami, feel proud, very proud and confident, because with a little bit of sincerity, now you are all studying, you're in second year. So with a little bit of sincerity and smart work, you are all going to be stars. So when I say stars, not just cine stars, okay? So I have made this statement because next topic is going to be closely aligned to this. So let's move on to the next topic. Choose your right inspiration. So this is something, I've prepared lots to talk on this because I've seen many of us are struggling to choose the right inspiration. One of a similar session, I happened to ask a set of 20 people on who their role model is. As expected, 80 percentage of the answer was someone from the cine industry, and just 20 percentage from the others. That's not surprising, right? I've been hearing such kind of answers since school. So I went on to ask, why have you chosen that person as your role model? And very few people were able to give justifiable answers. You know, so now to them, I asked, what's your ambition and how this particular person you mentioned aligns to what you want it to be? None of them were able to answer. They were not able to give an answer of how their kind of ambitions aligns to what this person was doing. So inspiration is everywhere. Yes, so you have to understand the sentence properly. You can take inspiration in bits and pieces, but in case of role models, you have to be very, very careful in choosing. So let's take an example of an XYZ actor who has worked his way up to what he is today. And let's take even Elon Musk, right? So if you have an ambition and if it aligns to what they've achieved, then great, you have chosen the right model. If not, then what's the point? If you aspire to be an engineer and then you have to stop going gaga over someone who has six packs at the age of 60, because yeah, staying fit is definitely important. So you have to be inspired by the results, but you have to choose or build the process towards it. So he can hit the gym twice or thrice a day and have a team to take care of his diet, right? But because his body is his asset and he has to take care of it. Whereas in your case, if you aspire to become someone remarkable in your field of study, then what should be your asset? Your brain, right? Your skills, your brains. So you must be able to you should be probably looking out for some person who is already there in the place where you want to be in few years. So you should be looking at that person, and only then you will be able to look into the right direction. So that's what I've told, that the person who might be who might change your life might be sitting just next to you. It might be your your professor, it might be your mom, it might be your dad, it might be your friend itself. There might be something that they are doing remarkably well that you can adopt. So start to look for people around you as celebrities. Don't invest time in looking into all these unrealistic things. Like, seriously guys, we have to be realistic. And in recent days, like don't be carried away with the unrealistic ideas in the movie. So that's what my third point talks about. Like, nobody is going to give you a job immediately for 50,000, and then you can buy an iPhone and just get off the job. So that's not going to happen. And definitely creating a Facebook group will not give you any job. And these meme engineers concepts, yeah, it's all very impressive to hear, but in terms of the percentage of being successful in creating memes and things is very less, right? Why take a risk when you have a wider pool of opportunities to choose from? And also some of the scenes, like where a jobless guy is impressing a doctor, it seems like with lights and balloons, but where did he actually get the money from? All these questions, so all these unrealistic ideas in the movie, you will have to definitely come out of it. Please don't get carried away. And honestly guys, you are going to spend 3 hours to watch something, so please make sure you invest your time in looking at something sensible, because some of the ideas, me struggling, like me, there are so many people struggling to prove ourselves, earn, upskill, and there's just someone going for a job to just get an iPhone and just drop off. So those kind of things are very unrealistic. So that's something I wanted to kind of highlight. So choose your right inspiration, look for people around you, and please don't get carried away by unrealistic ideas. So after that, next topic is look beyond today. So this ties metaphorically to a number of aspects. Sometimes we tend to settle for a solution for the time being, right? Without understanding the significance of a long term solution. So we fail to explore things and investigate its existence at first place. So when I were you, even I did the same thing. I prepared only for internals. So if I had two questions, two difficult questions, and if I knew that two would come in, or I would learn only one, study just one, forgetting the fact that this internals is actually just not a preparation for final, but also it is helping me to get the degree. Everything I do, everything you do is getting you ready to be a qualified engineer. So that's what is all about. Whatever you're doing today ties very closely to what you would be in future. So have this in mind that everything that you read is preparing you to be an engineer. Okay, so it's start looking into things beyond what's in book and paper. Understand what you learn and why you learn. So you have to think big. Your interest and research, like let's say you're looking into something and it's very intriguing, and your interest and research might take you places. So don't just take look at chapters in the books, or as mere words. Try to see that and learn where is that this particular thing block is being used in industries. So in few years, maybe you will be using that, and you can also think of a betterment or improvement. Probably this particular small spark could ignite something very big, right? So start to look into things, start to think big. Just don't look at the moment or for interim solution. So today I'm just preparing for internals. I'm just gonna get pass marks and get over it. Start to understand what you're doing, and always keep in mind that you are preparing right now to achieve something big in future. And in the process of finding something, always be prepared for failure. So statement might sound a little odd or negative, right? Because what is this, like be prepared to face failure? But this is an issue that our generation or the upcoming generations are struggling with. Uh, you know, I would like to share one of the incident with a little girl whom I know. She was, she had to go to the American consulate to get the tourist visa. Fortunately, her visa got rejected, and it was told in front of her that her visa got rejected, and she couldn't take it. She was throwing tantrums, and like she was like, "How dare he rejects me? How dare he? Nobody has rejected me." At the age of 10, she's telling that nobody has rejected me. It's quite shocking looking at a child say that, and she's like, I'm going to work my way up, and I'm going to come to his position, and I'm going to reject him. So even though some point, some part of it might sound, that she has an aspiration to come over him or things like that, but the fact of she's not being able to accept what has just happened is it's quite appalling, right? It's quite alarming. And just like how it happened to her, many of us, including me, we were like struggling to face failure. So unfortunately, we've been taught to aim just for success, right? So and we are taught very little to handle failure. So what I say is, make it a habit to think through all the possible scenarios. So let's say you have something in your mind, think through all the positive scenarios. If you want to, let's say, if you want to get, okay, this is what is my aim. I want to get place. I want to get clear this areas or things like that. Please have all possible scenarios in mind, and work out a plan in your mind. So it will help you to bounce back quicker. So it also prepare you to face any situation that might come by. So that's a very important piece of item that you'll have to understand. So be prepared to face failure. Next topic is prioritize. So this is something that I learned through my experience. So sometime you might feel that you have a number of items to do. If you don't have a plan, then just imagine you having hundreds of items to work out in a day, and you don't have a plan. You might come the next day and say, "Ma'am, I didn't have time, ma'am. I was not able to do this, ma'am." Or just like this, you would even be doing it when you end up in a job. So which is very, very wrong, right? Because time, you can never run out of time. Time is volatile, so you can never run out of time. You have, all you have to do is just prioritize your tasks. So start your day with a checklist. So that's what I've prepared a checklist for every day, for all the things that you do. And even it might be a very basic thing of submit my record to, let's say, MLA ma'am. So that is one of the tasks. So, even write that down. So, and once you do that, sort them in the priority order. Like, let's say you have a number of assignments and exams at the same time. Instead of whining over, things like, oh my god, I have lots of stuff, so what I'm going to do, ma'am, நிறைய homework மேம், நான் படிக்கிறதா இல்லைன்னா வந்துட்டு நான் இதெல்லாம் பண்றதா அப்படின்னு, there could be a lot of confusion within you. Instead of going to your professor and saying, ma'am, நிறைய இருக்கு, என்னால சுத்தமா முடியாதுன்ட்டு, instead of kind of whining to her, what if you go to ma'am and say, ma'am, see the list of I have a list of items to do, so I'm just struggling to understand which I could do first, which I can prioritize. So if you convey things in this perspective, maybe who would not want to help you, right? Because it's like, even for ma'am or the professor, whoever is looking at you would feel like, okay, so he is looking to complete a list of tasks, and let me help what I can do. So you can come out with magic. So the professor could be more helpful than you actually could expect. uh, this is something that I personally learned from my experience, and I wish that I used the same technique when I was in college, but I'm just telling you today so that it will be helpful for you. So get help from asking the right question to right people. So just if at all, if you have any dilemma or if you have any confusion, talk to your professor, talk to your immediate mentors, and get help. So also, by doing this, what you're doing is you're getting ready for the next phase. When I say next phase, you might end up in a job, right? You will be able to handle things well and stand out in a crowd. When you start a career as a fresher, you are expected to pick things up fast. So I know you all know the story of completing engineering, getting placed, and after that, what happens is you are either put into a training. So you have to make sure you do your training well, and once you perform there, you will be given a project. So this, it applies for any industry, not just IT. Then in that project, what you're expected to do is perform the best that you could, because there's something called probationary period. I'm not sure how many of you have heard about this. So probationary period is where it's like a period, a checkpoint where everybody will be observing, your immediate manager will be observing, so how good this person is behaving, how the first impression that you could create in an employer. So you have to be very prepared for this, because the first impression is the best impression. And trust me, if you proved yourself in the first 6 months or in a year, then you have no doubt you are very, very safe in the job, and you've already proved yourself. So that's something that I wanted to talk about in terms of prioritize. So the next topic is prepare a strategy. So, yes, so strategy is just not only for business, but for each and everything you do. So, if you have a goal right now, let's say the goal is to complete a degree, or let's say it's to get placed, jot down all the action points that you have to do in order to get there. Like, take a PPT or a Word document, and just kind of record it. Look into it every week and see all that you've done. So let's say you're looking into the document on a Sunday and saying, okay, so all I've done the previous week, is it aligned to my strategy and to my goal? So if you've done anything at all out of strategy, try to correct it then and there. So let me give you an example where where you can set up strategy for anything. Recently, what I want to do is I wanted to renovate my house, and as everybody, I wanted to get things done within budget. At the same time, I don't want to compromise things in terms of the look and feel of the house. So what I saw, ended up with is having the strategy of whatever is there already, and if it's in the working condition, leave it as is. But if it's not there, get the best. So it is a very, very simple example. How it helped me is in terms of taking decision. Like sometimes you might feel like, oh, am I actually overspending? Am I actually not spending? Am I being stingy? So when I had some confusions like that, I would ask this question to me, the strategy line, and if I stay aligned to whatever is my strategy, then I would go ahead and do it. So that's how easy a strategy can work magic. So I would like to introduce this particular concept called what, how, when, why, and when thinking process. So you would have been very clear of what you want to do. So let's say again this mundane thing, because I keep repeating this, I sound like a broken record because I want to make it very aligned to the current present crowd. So let's say you want to get placed, so that's your goal, and how you're going to do is something that you have to work out through the action points. And next is how you're going to do it, I mean why you're going to do it. So this why is something that most of us don't think. So you know what you're going to do, you know how you're going to do, but I'm not sure how many of you know or have thought introspectively of why you are actually doing this. So you have to take time to think of why you are actually studying, why you actually studying easy, why you are doing this, why you are having this as a goal. What do I accomplish by being successful at this? So ask that question. So when you keep asking that question to yourself, right, subconsciously you are teaching your brain to go through or directing your brain to achieve something. This is what is machine learning about. Machine learning is you're teaching machines to do things. So you're kind of applying the same strategy here, where you're teaching your brain. So subconsciously your brain is okay, so this particular person is very serious, no joke, so we'll have to definitely work towards this goal. So that's about preparing a strategy, and using this what, how, why, and when. So when is very, very important. If not, this would be a never ending process. So without a timeline, everything would go futile. So you have to say within this particular month I'll have to do this, within so many days I'll have to complete this, I have to be, I have to complete the certification here, I have to do this here. So everything that you have, any what, how, or why, should, or everything should have a timeline. So that's what I wanted to talk about, talk in terms of when, and it is very, very, very important. Okay, so that's about the 5 points. The next thing, and the most, I think, very useful thing for this particular crowd would be is what today the organizations are looking for. So currently, as you've heard, right, so I am a part of EMIS Health, and I am in the resourcing and analytics part. So where we use data to understand the current requirement of talent in the organization, and we see, okay, where is the lag and what kind of people we require. We build strategy, we build demand list, and basically just to see how better, how effectively we can utilize or recruit resources. So that's the kind of thing we do. So from that, I'll be able to share you what our organization, or any organization for that matter, is looking for. So first thing, very cliched one, a degree holder with a good percentage. Yes, marks definitely matters. Even today, if we get a resume, the first thing that we look is the 10th, 12th, and the college percentage. So it speaks volume. So it's just a question of, if the person is not having a very decent number, you might not require to be all top performers or things like that, but a very decent percentage speaks about you, it speaks for you. So you will have to have that in your resume first, because that's the first and the foremost factor we look into. So we'll have to ask the question, so if he's not able to get a very good percentage, how would we expect him to work in an environment, a self accountable environment like this? So those kind of questions would raise in a recruiter's mind. So yes, marks does matter. You'll have to be a degree holder with a good percentage, a decent percentage. And next, a continuous learner. So when I say a continuous learner, it's not, engineering is not going to be the stop point for exams and things like that. Even today, every year we have to make a plan of what we have to learn. We have to constantly upskill. It is not stressful at all, trust me. Like, it's just being competent enough. There are a lot of people in the industry who are ready to take your position. So if you have to make your, secure your position, all you have to do is continuously learn, and then have this interest to learn. So you shouldn't take that as a stress. You should take that, as a, with open mind and open heart. You have to be very happy and continuously learn. Self accountability. So this I personally stress even in my team, where self accountability, like, you should not always just act in a kind of a monitored environment. You should be able to do what you're supposed to do even without a spectator. So that is something that you will have to definitely work on, self accountability. And one of the very, very, very key quality of moving from a student life into, an employee, of being an employee. And the next thing is a team player. So team player doesn't mean like going for a coffee, sitting as a team, helping each other, things like that. It doesn't just stay there. You all know, the a very generic statement of a team player. But beyond that, it's about learning from each of them. So if someone is doing something better than you, right now, we've had this culture, right? If someone is doing some telling something that you don't understand, immediately you would like, vannatarya advice pandradhukku. So that kind of mindset is what most of us have. We would like play pun on him, or you're like just ward him off from the place. So that's what we all do. We don't take time to listen to that person, what he is actually talking. If there's a very good point, you'll have to have that mind to learn from people. Being a team player, you will be able to learn lots. You might be an expert in one area, but there might be another person who's, an expert in another area. Just imagine, if working together, you might be indirectly or subconsciously teaching each other of their own strengths. So being a team player and having this open mind to suggestions is very important. And the next thing is communication skills. So we are engineers, so we'll go get placed in a job, and most of our clients would be from the other countries, and our mode of communication is going to be in English. So I've faced scenarios where I've seen people deliver altogether a different project or different requirement just because of communication gaps. So this is something that you'll have to definitely work on, because the client is not gonna sit next to you and see, okay, so this particular person, so Malini is here, so Malini has been working, so she is very good, I know that she'll be no, he is not gonna sit by the side of you and look at what you're doing. He's just gonna listen to what you're gonna talk, right? So you have to be very, very cautious in how good you articulate things. So you might be the expert, you might do coding very well, but if you're not able to articulate or sell what you do, then it's not a great deal in the initial stages. But you will have to gradually improve this communication skill for the sake of sustainability in the industry, or to be competent enough. So that's what good communication skill is about. The next one is diligence. Diligence is, very closer to hard work, but this is persistent hard work. So you have to hard work and smart work actually. So being very careful in whatever you do, and being persistent in whatever task that you're performing. So let's say you ended up in a project and they've given you a task. You have to make sure whatever you do, you're doing it very carefully, you have a thought process in mind, you have a very clear understanding, and then persistently work. You cannot just work in one quarter. Let's say in your language, let's say you're having a very good percentage in one semester, and you completely drop off in the next semester. so that won't work, right? Because at the end, everybody is not going to look at, okay, you've done well in semester 3, uh, things like that. They're going to look at your mark as a whole. So being very careful and persistently putting effort to whatever you do, that's what diligence is about. All these points that you see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 points until diligence is something that you'll have to work in the initial stages or initial phase, or let's say in any phase from the point of school into the first 2 years of being an employee. When you do all of this, automatically this sense of responsibility would come to you, which means that, as I pointed out earlier, you are looking beyond today. So by doing all of these 6 things, you are preparing yourself to be a leader. And once you do that, you tell to your mind or be very confident that you've earned your place. So your mark, your sustenance, it's going to be remarkable. Because if just imagine you have a good degree, you're a continuous learner, you are self accountable, you're a team player, you have good communication skill, you're diligent, you're responsible, will anybody want to throw you out, or will anybody think about having a replacement in your place? No, right? I mean, definitely we would not do that, because you would be an asset to the whole organization. So this is something that you'll have to keep in mind in terms of what the organizations are looking for. And when you have all of this, you'll end up giving quality of work. So that's something that's the end product, right? So you would end up delivering wonderful products or wonderful ideas to the client, and he or she would be very very impressed, and they would never even consider or even have a second thought of having a replacement. So these are some of the points that I wanted to share in terms of what the organizations are looking for. And that's a kind of, these all the points here are not just out of some experience or things. I've taken this out after a lot of research, something that we are working on in our organization as well. So these are the first a set of 7 to 8 qualities that we are looking for any joiner or any employee in an organization. So that's about my presentation today. Since it's a Monday morning, I didn't want to, kind of drag along a lot of topics, but I just wanted to keep it crisp, so that there's not too much of information to comprehend. At the same time, I wanted to keep it on the dot. So that's it from my side. If you have any questions my way, please do shoot.
Students,
You can ask me any questions, like if you have any questions to the recent the trend data science, or if you or any questions in terms of uh, you know uh, recruitment and things like that, you can ask me.
students, if you have any queries, you can ask or you can post in chat box. Unmute yourself and ask questions.
Come on, guys. I am your senior, so I told you, right? It's just like conversation. Please treat this as a conversation in your school canteen. So do ask me if you have any
Hi,
questions. Hi,
I would like to
Vijay.
ask. Hi,
Yes.
and
Vijayalakshmi? Okay. Proceed.
it was an excellent presentation. We had a good time with you. And in the recent time, I used to see in the news is that like big giant companies like Google and Facebook are recruiting the peoples who have not yet completed the degree, and they just see for their just skills. And is there where we are lagging, or what is the thing that marks are different, or the skills to be gained for the real industries? Like my question is skills are important or marks is important?
Yeah, that's a very good question,
Very good question.
Vijayalakshmi. Yeah. So I know where this thought process came. I saw the same meme that you saw, Vijayalakshmi, and it's like, let's talk in the perspective of India, right? This can you kind of approach to a person or an organization without having completed a degree, the odds of you successfully ending up in a job is very, very less. So having a degree is an entry ticket. So it is, that's what takes you to to a job. But the skills is what makes you stand out, or sustainability, and in terms of flourishing your career is what skills about. So to answer your questions, definitely you will need a degree in order to make yourself eligible for any organization in India, as per se. So this concept of not completing a degree is definitely not the culture in India. It's for the Facebook and Google people. It might be for the ones in UK, not UK, just the other countries apart from India, but definitely not in India. I've never heard of anyone. Even I saw this meme and I spoke to a couple of people, and they were like, "That's a culture, right? In foreign countries, many of them don't even complete their high school, but they go on to do a software job or things like that, because they do certification and things, and also the employers are okay with that. But if from our country, if you are going to apply for a job, even in the recruitment or in any advertisement, if you see, the first and foremost thing is that they'll ask for a degree, and only then, right? உங்களோட ரெஸ்யூமேல டிகிரியே இல்லைன்னா they will not even call you. So you will have to get that first in place, and next, the skills is the next step. Interviewer, you will have to prove. So they'll ask you a set of questions, and proving your skills is there. So entry ticket is definitely degree. In terms of India, it's definitely that. I hope I answered your question, Vijay Lakshmi.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Any questions, students?
Hello, ma'am. Hello.
Hello, Rahul.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, ma'am, the sisters told degree is only important, ma'am. That is mark also you want to important. Ma'am, the sister is asking about the any job we apply means they ask only simply a degree. They did not ask sort of a mark. They ask only a skills only, no, ma'am.
Okay, so I think I will be in a position to answer this, because I am also from the recruiting panel in my organization, right? So yeah, degree is the entry point, but so I don't know if you know this concept. So let me just brief you on how this recruitment process happens. Okay. Let's say you are all getting a place as a fresher, so that is a different story. But after that, you are not going to end up in the same company for long, right? You will definitely have to switch companies and things like that. When you do that, any recruiter who looks for a replacement would first look into your educational qualification. So it's like, okay, so Rahul has completed electronics and communication in SRM Valimir, or MDE in SRM Valimai. So check. So next thing is, we would have given a set of skill set that again will be filtered. And once all of that is okay, the next point that we look into is the marks. So we'll also see if it's as I told you earlier, right? It's not that you all have to get CGPAs greater than 8 or things. Yeah, definitely having it has its own advantage, but having a decent CGPA is very, very important, because if, let me tell you, we've rejected a number of resumes based on their percentage. So that also plays a factor. It all comes to a thing of, if at all, if you have less percentage, right, you'll have to be very put in a lot of effort and make sure நிறைய interviews you'll have to try put your best effort in order to actually the vast amount of effort. But whereas you have, by getting a decent percentage and having a degree, you're putting yourself in the upper creamy layer, this 20 percentage of or 30 percentage who are successful in their career and they are earning very good, right? So by having those kind of things, you're actually preparing yourself. Ungala vandu you're putting yourself in a top list. Why do you have to settle with something less when you are able to be in the top layer? If you are having good percentage, if you are having let's say if you are having a degree, and if you're having the right skill set, you would be looked at first. If not, you will have to wait until all the 20 percentage of the people are rejected, and only then they will come. By the time that they someone comes to the other 80 percentage, it would be too late, right? So that's what we say, that definitely degree, marks and skills matter.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, another doubt,
Yeah.
ma'am.
Mhm.
Ma'am, my brother friends was got two arrears, ma'am.
Mhm.
In 2012 passed out, ma'am. He's got good salary and he got in Infosys placement, ma'am, because of his skills, ma'am.
Okay.
My brother's not got the Infosys placement after he's try long time. He has also good CGPA, ma'am. My brother have good CGPA. He not got Infosys placement. After he's trying long time, he's got in Infosys, ma'am.
Mhm.
They told my brother friends. He asked to my brother was asked to my brother friend, ma'am. Brother friend, he's told he's asking from the only skills. His
Mhm.
placement me after you finishing final year, you want to clear this area. Next, you want to came to the company like this. He only told, ma'am. My brother was studies ECE only, ma'am. He got placement in IT, ma'am. What
Mhm.
uh, what we learn about this too, ma'am.
So
We
it's
change our
like,
career and we working no, ma'am. We study some department, ma'am. We works about the IT only, ma'am. Why, ma'am?
sorry, I didn't get the last bit. What was your question? Are you asking that you someone studied in IT and they've ended up in IT? I didn't get the
No, ma'am.
last bit. Sorry.
No, ma'am. My brother was studying. My brother own brother was studying ECE, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. Mm-hmm.
He got placement in Infosys IT, ma'am.
Okay.
Why, ma'am?
See, it's a choice. It's a choice that you make. It's not that it all depends on, there's no fixed formula for anything in terms of placement and being capable or posing yourself capable to be placed in an organization. So it's your choice. Maybe even if you say that you don't want to kind of go into IT industry, then be very clear with that. You shouldn't have, if you shouldn't have actually attended the interview at first place if you're very clear that you want to go into a product based organization. And the next thing that I wanted to tell you is, IT is not just about softwares. So you're not just going to build something, codes for something, let's say just an application. It very closely ties with our world as well, ECE, because there are two type of things in IT, right? So one is the service based industry and the other one is product based industry. So in the product based industry, you might be sitting very close to let's say there is a device, and you will be actually working very close coding and creating things for that to function. For that, in order to do that, you will definitely need EC electronics background. Even today, when we kind of recruit people, we'll say that, okay, this is, so mine is a software provider, so healthcare software provider. But even there, we would used to think, okay, so this is a requirement, but it'll be best if we have an ECE engineer because he would have a better understanding of this everything that's happening. So this thought process of IT field just means creation of app is actually something that has to be rethink, because the industries in IT is vast. You have manufacturing, you have sports, you have chemicals, you have directly, you'll have electronic goods and everything. So ideally, even if you end up in a software field doesn't mean you'll just be doing something else that an IT person in IT department has been doing. Your understanding would be definitely better than him, so there's always an upper hand.
Thanks, ma'am. I understand it.
Thanks, Rahul.
Ma'am,
Yes.
ma'am, Surya Prakash, ma'am.
Hi, Surya. Tell me.
Ma'am, now the Apple company and Tesla, that many companies are starting their plants in India, ma'am, especially in Chennai, ma'am.
Mhm.
What are the opportunities for the ECE students will be there, ma'am?
Firstly,
The
I don't
Apple,
think.
they have
Go on,
uh,
go on.
Foxconn Chennai plant, ma'am. They have the other country companies are starting their plants in India, ma'am.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
Mm-hmm.
in future, they are starting their plant in India, ma'am.
Mm-hmm.
Manufacturing unit, ma'am.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the EC, I am studying EC, ma'am. In future, what are the opportunities will be for me in this type of companies,
Okay.
like Apple,
So
Tesla?
yeah. So I would not be directly able to give you a very direct context, but I'll be able to give you an idea how you can prepare yourself in order to put your, successfully go into that organizations. So I'll ask you to read a lot around the requirements. So go to LinkedIn and start looking for jobs that's posted against Tesla or let's say Google, Apple, and see what are the skill set that they are requiring, to start your research from there. So just imagine, right, Surya Prakash, just like you, there might be hundreds of or thousands or lakhs of people who are waiting for, getting placed in an organization like that. So in order to put yourself in the first set of priority list or first set of qualified students, you'll have to start from now, start looking into what skill set they are doing, just not about the bookish knowledge that you learn right now. Start to invest your time in some certifications, start to sharpen your skills and what they are actually looking for. So the first thing that I would recommend is go to LinkedIn, search the job and see what kind of skill set they are doing, and start to work on your skill set from now. Definitely concentrate on what you're reading right now as well. So make sure that this is not affected. At the same time, by doing something as a certification and showing extra interest, right, you would be in the top, one of the propensity of you being chosen is high when you do that. So that's something that you can try or start to work on.
Ma'am,
Yes.
ma'am, thank you, ma'am. Is possible, ma'am, as students start upping a new company, the other countries are coming into the India and they are starting their new companies and they have the branch in India, ma'am. Is
Hmm.
that possible that what are the minimum qualification, what are the things should be developed to start the startup and company in our core, ma'am?
Okay, so in the right industry right now, how the industry is, what I would recommend is, yep. So as I told you, there's no set of formulas for any rules and regulation for anything. If there are people who have straight away started industry, their own organization or own company, and they flourished well in that. But what I would recommend is start off with let's say you have a plan in mind, Surya Prakash. Let's say you are planning to build a free cost inverters or something, like not less cost and
Yes, ma'am.
energy saving. Let's say an inverter or I've known an example of one of the person who started an organization for a small company for AC inverters. So what he
Ma'am,
did
iron
was,
batteries.
yeah, yeah,
Okay.
very similar to this. So
Okay.
what he did is he invested 2 years initially in a very similar organization. So he understood of, you need this kind of roadmap, right? You'll have to understand the
Yes, ma'am.
direction. So what he
Yes, ma'am.
did was 2 years he went to that organization. He understood all the crux of it. Okay, so how do I get clients? How do I get the investment? So how do what is easy what can be improved. So all these kind of learning, he invested 2 years, and after 2 years, it again took 2 years for him to flourish in whatever he was doing. So the time can be time consuming, it could be 4 years, but now the results are remarkable. So he's one of I've seen him grow from being nothing to having accomplished so much. So first start with doing your research, understanding what's being done in the industry, invest your time there, and be very much willing to take risks. So you have to, there might be your friend who actually got placed in an IT software based company, and he might be in UK or US on site or something. But don't get carried away by that. Each one have their own clock. So if you have this as your particular aspiration in mind, then be very much aligned to it. Take your time and work towards it. And definitely, if you have this, thought process, clarity of thought, then you will be able to work out wonders.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you. Okay, I'm conscious that we've got 2 minutes.
Students, any more questions?
Ma'am, ma'am,
You can ask.
ஒரு டவுட் மேம்.
Yes.
இப்ப வெளிநாட்டுக்காரங்களாம் வந்து இந்த ஆர்ம்ஸ் ட்ரைனிங்லாம் நம்ம நாட்டுல இன்வெஸ்ட் பண்றாங்கல்ல மேம்.
ஓகே.
அது மாதிரி நாங்க ஸ்டூடெண்ட்ஸ் அதுல எப்படி மேம், அதாவது எப்படி அதுல இது பண்ண முடியும் மேம்?
Okay, so firstly, I don't think so I have an exposure to answer that, but what I can do is Chidambaram, right? Your name is?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So what I can do is, I can if you can post this question here, or if we can mail, I can send you my mail ID. I can talk to people regarding this and point you in the direction, but I'm sorry, I'll not be able to answer that. But I can definitely point you to the direction you will get answers to.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So I have a question here. So they've told that, as you said about an unrealistic and realistic thought, what type of realistic thought you've undertaken in your career? So yeah, so I can tell you an example where I switched. So my career. So this was when I was in Infi, and I got married when, in the initial stage as well. And in the second year, I think I was on maternity leave. And when I was there in the, before the maternity leave, I was actually kind of um, in the upper hand. I was able to code. I was able to tell people do things. But when I came from the maternity leave, everything turned upside down, where because even 6 months or so many months of gaps can change so many things in terms of the coding world. I was very, very upset, and not sure of very upset of that, I'm not able to lead the team, or I've gone down. I have to upskill and things like that. I was very, very upset. So that's when I sat down and I was thinking into stuffs that I can practically work out than to whine over what has already passed away. So for that, what I thought was, everybody was doing this data analytics course. So that was a buzzword there, artificial intelligence and things like that. And I was able to successfully, complete complete something related to that. And then I was successful in getting placed in an organization for AI. So realistically, you might hear that everybody is saying, wow, AI, machine learning and things like that. So yes, so that is something that everybody likes, and you all have know the painted picture of that being the hot topic and things like that. But to me, I was struggling because me being a family woman, right? I have to take care of my kid and my family as well. I have to sit down and say, okay, everybody is very happy. They are earning good. Even I was earning good. But in reality, I'll have to weigh what is possible for me, right? So that's when I had to take a decision of changing artificial intelligence. I moved my career to business analytics. It's very similar in terms of the groundwork, but the only thing is artificial intelligence needed a lot of extra time and extra effort because it's a very competent field. It doesn't mean that you cannot flourish in artificial intelligence. It's just for me, okay? So whatever I'm saying is just for me. In my particular scenario, I'll have to take a realistic decision of, should I bang myself every day and learn new skills and try to prove, or can I take one step back and go to a less competent field, but not very much far from what I'm doing. So that's the kind of realistic decision that I've taken, and let me tell you, that is one of the best decisions I've taken, and I have no regrets from then of what I've taken. So that's a kind of thing where you can apply to what's actually happening around to add to what you want, and then take a decision. So that's something that I've taken. I hope that answered your question, Kanimuri. Or
Okay.
Miss Kanimuri. Oh my God.
Yes,
Is it a professor?
No, 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 no.
Okay, okay.
thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, okay.
Hope there is no more questions. Okay. So now this is the time to propose the vote of thanks. I extend my thanks to the speaker, Ms.G.Hemavinotheni, for honoring our invitation and sharing your knowledge, experience, and opinions with the students. So really, Hema Vinodini, your slides are more innovative and informative. Thank you, Hema.
Thank you so much, ma'am. It was a pleasure, an honor to be able to, to be part of Valiame again and to be presenting something to the crowd. So I wish all the very best to all of you. As I said, please be proud of what you're doing. And in case of anything, please reach out to me. I'll forward my email ID. And even if I'm not able to answer anything, I'll make sure I'll be pointing you to the right direction. Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you, ma'am. And thanks
Thank
to
you.
all the staffs. Yeah. Thank you, ma'am.
So I would like to thank Dr. Komala James, HOD Department of ECE, class advisors and co-advisors of second year class for their support towards the successful conduction of this webinar. I extend my special thanks to the students for their cooperation and involvement throughout the session. Hope the session inspires you in remarkable way, and also how to prioritize your work whenever you are dumped with more works, and also you can take more thoughts and you can gain more ideas out of this speech. Thank you, students. Thank you all. Okay. Thank you, Hema Vinodini.
Thank you, ma'am. I'm dropping off. Thank
Okay.
you all. Bye-bye.
Bye. Shall I wind up the session?